What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to the channel. We got some big news today in the world of Dungeon Defenders regarding Dungeon Defenders Awakened and its immediate future. Some folks will be ecstatic, other folks are gonna be pissed, and I can understand both sides of what you all are feeling. So without further ado, let's hop right on into it. Now, first things first, the word delayed has not been used. However, Dungeon Defenders Awakened will not be releasing in February as previously promised. Now, I think this comes as no surprise to many, as people have been saying for months and months and months now that they're expecting the game to be delayed. Now, instead of just straight up delaying the game, Chromatic is working Dungeon Defenders Awakened into an early access type system. Now, they did say in the past that they were not going to use an early access type program for DDA. However, they currently feel like that is the best way to make improvements to the game and get feedback on the development of the game as it progresses. Early access will be on PC only on Steam and begins February 21st and comes with a brand new early access trailer. Let's take a look at it. Now, as I mentioned, I think it comes as no surprise to anyone that the game will not be feature complete and ready in February, so I completely understand where or why they are choosing to take this direction in early access. No doubt this is going to disappoint lots of fans on all platforms, not just on Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. Now, in addition to that, they do go into a little bit about why early access, and I think the reasons are all apparent. The game is not complete. Early access or an early access system will allow them to get feedback. Since it's on Steam and PC only, it's going to allow for constant and frequent changes to the game itself at a minimum expense, as far as getting updates out there to people, as Steam is very friendly with developers sending out frequent and constant updates. Now, we do know that several things on the game have been working on. We got a better look at the HUD, which was shown at PAX, and we got some clips of back last week. However, we got a clean look at it here. We see the nameplate bar up in the top left. We've got a large informational display up at the top, and the hotbar and the controls all moved down to the bottom right. I've got really mixed feelings about the HUD. Now, I don't have a problem with all the controls and the hotbars being in the bottom right. Of course, I am used to those kind of being like center bottom in just about every game I play. However, it doesn't really bother me either way about that info being there. Now, one thing that stands out to me personally that I don't really care about is I don't understand what this bar is in the middle of the screen. Now, I, for one, and I do realize that there will be mixed opinions about this one, I personally, as a player, do not like having clutter in the middle of the screen around my aim reticle. I see this bar as clutter, and I don't really care for it. Now, I'm not really sure exactly what that bar represents. Looking at the rest of the information on the HUD that is shown, I'm going to guess that that is our ability mana, as it's not shown anywhere else on the screen. The Apprentice, of course, doesn't have a reload, so it can't be a reload animation. It has to be our ability mana, and personally, I hate it. For lack of better words, I wish that that was moved over, like, under the health bar on the player nameplate, or just somewhere else out of the middle of the screen. As a player, I like to look at the screen and see as much information as possible in one place. and I just don't see that being a nice feature. Now, as I mentioned, I know a lot of gamers are used to having all the information right around their aiming reticle. I personally just don't care for it. Everything else with the HUD I think looks great. I do think that the art design or the art choice could be tweaked a little bit. The main bar up at the top seems a little bit futuristic for a dungeon-based game. However, it definitely looks better than what we have right now in the beta. Now, as they've mentioned several times, they've been making tweaks to the character models, and more importantly, the faces. I know there's been a lot of feedback about the character models themselves, and you see some of the progress they've made on the Huntress and the Monk on these two images. You see it's quite the difference between the top and the bottom. I've got kind of mixed emotions on the Monk. The face went very round, and he lost that chiseled jaw. He did lose a little bit of the grumpy old man look, and looks a little bit younger. However, still just have some mixed feelings on the appearance of the Monk itself. You all know I'm a big Monk fanboy, so I am very picky about my Monkage. Now, they also gave us a roadmap. Now, this has never been done before that I'm aware of in any Dungeon Defenders game, where they straight up laid out a roadmap. So I do appreciate the fact that they've given this to us. Let's take a look through it. First off, we know February 21st, early access will launch on Steam. It's going to include the 12 campaign maps, the original 4 heroes, Squire, Huntress, Apprentice, and Monk, easy through insane difficulties. So Nightmare difficulty and Massacre difficulty will not be in at early access launch. And then with 12 campaign maps, there's going to be 12 different pets. So assuming that each individual campaign map's survival runs will offer a different pet. Now, moving on to March, they've got going to add in the Summoning the Demon Lord update, which will bring the Demon Lord boss, a bonus map, Magus Quarters. Now, it was told that we were going to have 3 bonus maps in the game. We didn't know what those were. Of course, we can see the other campaign maps that are in the beta. I, for one, love Magus Quarters, so I'm glad to see it made the cut and made it in Dungeon Defenders Awakened. Now, in addition, in March, they're going to be adding in Hardcore mode and Nightmare difficulty. So we know Hardcore mode is a toggle from Dungeon Defenders 1, and something that most players will do to tweak that loot up as most as possible. And then Nightmare difficulty is going to bring Nightmare enemies, of course, and we'll get to look forward to having some lovely Sharkin and various other enemies moving our goodies around. Now, in addition to this, March will also bring Act 1 challenge maps, meaning if you look through the beta, I'm assuming this means the 4 beta maps, those 4 maps will each have a challenge map ready to go in March, and then also additional pets will be added into the game. Now, moving on till April, activating the Goblin Mech. The Goblin Mech boss will be joining the crowd of bosses in DDA. In addition to that, we see the bonus map Endless Spires. A pure strategy mode will be added in, Act 2 challenge maps, and then more pets. Now we get to Quarter 2. Now, Quarter 2, remember, is April, May, and June. So although there is no specific months listed, we can expect Quarter 2 to be April, May, and June, and being realistic, we would only have to expect that June, and probably late June, would be the 1.0 PC and Switch release. This is going to bring the Ancient Dragon boss, a mixed mode, Massacre difficulty. The Kickstarter rewards will be added in at launch, player trading, tavern vendors, replay from Wave, and all challenge maps. Replay from Wave is another thing that I know that a lot of people have mixed emotions about. I, for one, am not necessarily excited about Replay from Wave, but at the same note, it doesn't really bother me as much as it does some other players. Now, having all the challenge maps in the game, of course, will be nice, so we'll get multiple game modes to play in Dungeon Defenders Awakened. And then Quarter 3. Now, Quarter 3 will bring the launch onto PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and then they have a free update DLC. Now, I'm going to guess that these will coincide at the same time. Of course, that is a complete guess, but it would make sense to me that they would release the full package with the free update DLC on PlayStation and Xbox, and then PC and Switch players would just get a free DLC update at that point. Now, of course, who knows? I'm only guessing. We do know that this is going to be in quarter 3, and quarter 3, remember, is July, August, and September. So no specific dates there listed as well. We know July, August, and September are the quarter 3 months, so the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One release could happen at any point throughout that. Now, it was said previously on the forums by Kyle that PlayStation 4 and Xbox One release will be between 4 and 6 weeks of PC and Switch release. Of course, we don't know if that information is still valid under this new early access program. We're just going to have to wait and see, but I'm hoping for all the Xbox and PlayStation fans out there that that time and that wait is as short as possible, but you can expect to get your hands on Dungeon Defenders Awakened in quarter number 3. Now, anyone that does plan on playing on multiple platforms, remember that cross-saves have been promised to be a thing in Dungeon Defenders Awakened. They didn't say anything in this news update that cross-saves wouldn't be there. So if you prefer to play on PlayStation, but you also have a PC, you can get started on the PC, and then your progress will be saved over to PlayStation once the game launches there. Now, of course, with early access approaching, the current beta will be closing. The beta that's running now is going to run until this Sunday night, February 2nd at midnight Eastern Standard Time. So if you do have access to the beta and you want to get some time in, then by all means get into the beta. And then now we're going to move along to what they listed as the closing. Now remember, there will be a link to this blog post down in the description below, so get on over there and read through the whole thing. However, one thing does stand out, and I've brought this up in the past, and I'm going to bring it up again. So I'm going to go ahead and read through a portion of the What's Next section on the developer blog post. And that is, we're going to keep working as shown in the roadmap. We've got some ground to cover still. We want to keep updates coming and to further enhance our transparency and direct communication with our community. Now, that is a bold statement. It's a statement that Trendy and Chromatic have made many times in the past, and without sugarcoating anything, just as a message from me to Chromatic themselves, prove it. There's no other way to put it other than prove it. We have had the promise of more transparency in the past on more than one occasion, and I'm really hoping that they're able to come through this time around. So please, Chromatic, communicate with us, let us know what's going on, let us know where our expectations are, and please don't give us any false hopes of anything to expect when it's not a realistic time frame. So I, for one, am excited for the early access, and I'm hoping that Chromatic is able to stay true to the roadmap that they outlined for us here, and we will see. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. As a reminder, and I hate to even say this, but I don't work for Chromatic. I never have worked for Chromatic. I have never been paid in any way from Chromatic. So by all means, let me know whether it's positive, whether you're pissed. Tell me whatever you want to tell me down in the comments. However, please just keep things respectful. So as always, thank you all so much for watching. I look forward to updating you all with more and more news as it becomes available. So hopefully everyone's having a great week, and I will see ya next time around. Take it easy.